Hello YouTube, welcome to my first writing video. So you've probably noticed by the length of this video that it is not the full 40-minute ride out to my workplace. I'm not going to make a 40 minutes long video, that's just ridiculous, guys. I'm going to just try to put in the parts that I think best show you what it's like to get out there. From where I live, which is around Zhongshan, Fuxing, to where my school is, which is out in ShenKeng District in New Taipei City. So yeah, and also the way I want to kind of do these videos is to do some Q&A. So you guys in the future, in this video, drop me some comments, and then in the future I can answer your questions. I'll read them out and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. I want to do that, and then I also want to, at least in this first one, I'll try it, see how it goes. Try to talk about like current events going on here in Taiwan or elsewhere in Asia. So yeah, I have 3 stories that I want to talk about that are all relevant to Taiwan, and I hope you guys will comment and tell me what you think, because they're kind of controversial. So here we go. The first one is about the organizer being indicted over the Bali Inferno. I'm getting the headline from the Taipei Times newspaper. So if you don't know, back on June 27th of this year at the Formosa Fun Coast Water Park, or the Baxian Water Park, there was a huge tragic disaster. You can Google it and you will see. Basically what happened was they were having what's called a color party, and at the color party they have all these bright colorful lights flashing onto the crowd, and also they're shooting this, cornstarch. They're shooting this cornstarch powder onto the crowd, and the cornstarch powder is colored with different colorings like purple, yellow, blue, whatever, right? So basically what happened was that these lights over the stage got so hot, I think they got up to like 400 degrees C, that when the cornstarch touched the lights, it basically ignited. So this cloud of like color powder cornstarch ignited, and like hundreds of people were caught in this big giant fireball. You can see the video, and I remember watching it originally. It was kind of scary. So here's basically the rundown of facts. There were 12 deaths, and 500 people suffered some sort of burns, 2nd degree or 3rd degree serious stuff. And basically the wrap up, the kind of the closure to all this, is that at the ShenKeng District prosecutor's office, they charged this organizer, Lu, that's his surname, with professional negligence resulting in death and professional negligence causing bodily harm. So, on the one hand, I say good that somebody's being charged for this, that somebody's going to go to jail for this. On the other hand, just below this initial headline on the paper, it says that the families are disappointed. They're basically disappointed that it's just one guy, and they don't see it as justice. They think it should have been like the whole crew that put this thing on and let it go on and did the lighting and did all the special effects that should be put into jail. And I gotta kind of agree. I mean, initially, I remember reading why are you using cornstarch powder? That seems like a bad idea. Why are you letting that get anywhere near these super hot, heated lights? That seems like also like a horrible idea. And Why are you using, this was the big one for me. Why are you using unpaid, untrained volunteers? These people aren't professionals. They don't even work there. They don't know what they're doing. They're probably not trained at all for any kind of anything, disaster or emergency response. So yeah, tell me what you guys think about this. Do you think justice has been served? And do you think more or less should be done, or just what do you think? Tell me what you think. I personally think that I kind of agree with the families that they should have arrested the whole lot of them, and that this kind of thing where you try to like cut corners and hire a bunch of, well, not hire, but just get a bunch of volunteers to do the work that professionals should be doing, that should be illegal. All right. So that's the first one. The second story is about this guy down in Taiwan who did a very good thing. So first story is really negative, second story is positive. So the Tainan deputy mayor, I don't know if he's still the deputy mayor, this guy, Yen Chun-zo, he won the U.S. President's Lifetime Achievement Award for doing something that's crazy in this country and that I think would be crazy back home in the United States as well. He started a program to distribute sterile needles to drug users to try to get them to be more safe, to try to lower the number of AIDS cases and HIV that was popping up, because it was rising and rising and rising if you read the story. And so he distributed these needles to these junkies, and people called him crazy. His own mother called him crazy. But when he did that, the number of AIDS cases like plummeted. And on top of that, he started methadone treatment. If you don't know what methadone is, it kind of, I don't want to say soft drug, but it's a softer drug that they give to people to kind of get them to step down or taper off their use of like hardcore drugs like heroin, I think. So he did these two things, and the AIDS cases fell, and he got a bunch of people who were previously drug addicts to stop using. And people called him crazy. All these kind of conservative people called him crazy, saying he's gonna piss off, number one, he's gonna piss off the dealers who are losing business to him, getting these guys clean, and B, some conservative people are going to say that he's creating a permissive society where people think it's okay to use drugs. And I basically think what he did was great. It was like heroic, you know? And that's the kind of thing we should be doing in the United States. We should, well, in my opinion, and you can scream all you want at me, we should legalize recreational marijuana or cannabis in the United States, like nationwide. And we should really think about legalizing drugs nationwide. And I know that sounds crazy, but some portion, some segment of society, no matter what you do, is gonna use these substances. And if you outlaw it, you create a black market like we did in the United States with alcohol, and then you get the mafia. So that's what I think. Anyway, drop some comments. I know this is also really controversial. Tell me what you think. Okay, story number 3 is about, and this one is a real downer, but I think it should be included because it's important. This one is about a 26-year-old Indonesian care worker named Siti. And basically, she was working as a caretaker for a 75-year-old woman, and she was being abused, which is what happens to a lot of Southeast Asians who come here to work. Either the men in factories or the women as domestics. They get abused because unfortunately, there's racism against foreigners, but there's racism especially against dark-skinned Southeast Asian foreigners. And what's striking about this whole thing is that the police visited twice. First time they visited, they brushed her off, and they're like, well, you got nothing. right? And they're like, we have nothing to go on here, so as far as we can see, nothing's, you're not being abused, you're fine. The second time, the girl used her cell phone and she set it up secretly and she filmed the abuse, and I watched the video and it was like hard to watch because this poor girl is being like berated, being screamed at by this 75-year-old woman, and then she starts pinching her face really hard, and then she slaps her at least once or twice, and she's crying and she's in tears because I think she thinks that she's gonna lose her job and that she's gonna lose her ARC, which, if you don't know what that is, you can go back into my video catalog and find out what an ARC is. Anyway, I think she thinks she's gonna lose her place in this country and she's gonna have to go back to Indonesia with no money. So obviously she's terrified. But luckily the police came on the second time, and since she had video evidence, they finally took action, and she was given to a support group that helps these kind of people in Taoyuan, and now she's in a shelter and she's gonna get help. So yeah, there's that. Tell me what you guys think about that, the problem of Southeast Asians coming to Taiwan and being abused by their employers and trying to demand better treatment and higher pay and holidays and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed these topics I brought up, these 3 topics, and I hope that you'll drop me some comments, you'll tell me what you think. These are all controversial things, so I hope people have plenty to say. I hope you'll give me some other questions so I can do a Q&A in the future. And I hope you enjoyed watching this writing video that'll give you an idea of what it's like to drive in Taiwan on a weekday in the middle of traffic and see what it's like. Alright guys, thank you. If you made it this far, I want to thank you for listening, and I hope you'll join me next time. Alright, bye-bye.